as everyone knows, I have a web series called This Week in Blackness, and I've covered lots of topics on the show. And one of the topics I did very early on, like this is like October 2008. I did a video called White Privilege. And it was I was talking about an essay that was written by at the time someone I was unfamiliar with, but I really liked it. His name was Tim Wise, and I didn't know the dude, but I really appreciated the video. And I was talking about the concept of white privilege, and I read a quote from him. So this video has been a lightning rod for dumb nonsense sent to me, dumb comments, emails, stuff like that. To this day, people are still looking up on white privilege. And today, I got someone decided to email me. Actually, no, they decided to do a video response, because you can do that. On YouTube, you can post a video response to someone else's video. And so they decided to send a video response. I don't have to accept it. I don't actually have to post it and acknowledge your video response, but I will get an email saying someone has posted a video response to about white privilege. And I looked at the description, and it said, to all you color fanatics out there, watch this video and maybe it will help you pull out whatever thingy you had stuck up your a-hole. Speaking to all the races out there, luckily in the 21st century, we have science to prove who we are and where we come from, and then blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, what is this thing that he sent to me? And it was one part of a 3-part episode of Eyes of Nye. Like Bill, Bill Nye, the science guy? Of
course.
Well, apparently he has a show called Eyes of Nye. I was unfamiliar with this. Mm-hmm. And he did something about race. And here's a clip of the thing that the dude maybe felt like it needed to be a response to about white privilege.
More information. But what this says to me overall is that those features of race that we're all very good at picking up.
So, obviously, Bill Nye, the science guy, he is, in fact, a science guy. And so this was more of a scientific look about race. And so this is what you're hearing.
It's skin color and hair color and eye shape and eye color, which are certainly genetic, are absolutely real, but they're not representative. These are representative bits of DNA. And these bits of DNA are absolutely shared, population to population. 93% of the entire world's variation you find in every population. If we compare two Africans by any measure except skin color, we'll find as much variation between two Africans as we will between someone from Africa and someone randomly selected from somewhere else in the world.
From Japan.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I posted a video about white privilege, and the response to my video about This Week in Blackness about white privilege is to tell me that race is a construct and that race doesn't really matter. If you look at DNA, race is not even a thing.
Skin color is determined by a sequence at a gene called the melanocortin receptor locus. Humans have this sequence. Cows have this sequence. Mice have this sequence. Mammals generally have this sequence. Cows vary in skin color and consequently in fur color, just like humans do. Cows do not care.
See, because cows don't care at all about color. You see that cow like that? I mean, how dare we discuss and go directly at race like this when cows have the same issues and they don't see color?
Cows don't judge each other based on the color of their cow hides. No, why is that? Because they're cows. They're all the same species. And they know it. Or they act like they know it.
I can't tell you the annoyance I had with this, because it's a thing that pops up a lot when I discuss race and when I talk about color and I talk about white privilege and stuff like that. People love to jump on the race is a social construct thing, and for this to be the response to me discussing white privilege, like, well, you don't understand, color is not even a thing. It implies that I'm being silly by going with this whole color thing. Like, I'm insane and I really need to just get over it. Where, I don't know if you knew this, I wasn't the one that made it a thing. I don't know if you were aware of this, Eldroy, that I was not the one who decided.
I thought you created it.
Right. When I decided like race and something like that, I made up race, and that's what's happening here.
Why the hell you give all power to damn white people? That's stupid.
Yeah, that's what disturbs me about this is all of the comments people are about racism, social constructs, not real, it's not scientific, but you're telling the wrong person. You don't need to be telling us.
Yeah, black people have never been like, man, we are so different from our DNA up. We are just so. That's never been an argument from any person of color ever.
In fact, I think a lot of our language has things like we are all the same. We should be treated like human beings because we're all. I feel like a lot of our language over the past century.
Hey, you're not going to meet a cow racist. It's not going to happen. See, they're just cow friends there enjoying a meal together. You know what? Maybe the cows don't overthink it. Maybe that's it.
Or
there's some cow in Alabama kicking a Mexican guy, laughing to himself about the thing he saw on YouTube where it says you won't meet a cow racist. Like crazy naive science dude.
What does all this variation mean about race?
To me, it means that people vary enormously from each other, and that the great majority of that variation is shared by everyone. And that the features that we can easily detect when we look at people from what we call different races are important but extremely superficial features based on a very small number of genes that have been selected during human evolution.
So the question becomes, why do people like us name shows like Blacking It Up and me do This Week in Blackness and all that stuff or whatever? I mean, if race is just nothing, it is 0.01% or something so superficial, then why harp on it?
I don't know if you ever noticed, the reality is that for us to get to the other side of any type of racism, it would require hundreds of years of conversation. Who wants to do that? Seriously, literally, it would require hundreds of years of us talking to each other openly about our differences before we can get to the other side of it. So realistically, the whole thing where people, it's just a social construct, technically, they're just choosing the easiest road, and to a point, I don't blame them.
It's not the easiest road. It's a stupid road. It's literally ignoring the current reality. It's something that we do on a regular basis as a society, is that we decide to ignore what is actually happening. Progressives and liberals do it all the time. The rules change, and we should be changing our whole strategy. And they're like, no, we're going to live like this because this is the way it's supposed to be. But no one else is following those rules.
Yeah, so
no one else is following those rules.
Telling us to follow a rule when racism is not the problem that we have, is the problem that the racist has. The problem is with the racist,
if you're not
the people that are.
Unless we were actually completely going 125th Street and start talking about our midichlorians and blackness, I don't know, and mitochondria.
How white people were created by it.
Force. Our people have it.
Right, we have the force, and that white people never had the force because they had a low midichlorian count. That would be a completely different argument if we were out there, like if I had my full on Wonder Woman bracelets and stuff like that, and so someone wanted to come at me like that. But it's like, I'm talking about a reality. I'm talking about what is a current situation right now. And when you go hyper science on this, all you do is annoy me because it doesn't help. It is like, now that we've talked about the science of it, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to completely be able to go catch that cab tomorrow because the science says that we're all the same. Taxi!
Because you can hold the science.
Taxi! I said taxi!
You can get a taxi with a science book.
Maybe if I just have this video playing on my iPad as the cab is driving by, I'm like, no, race.
That as soon as we look beyond those,
I just need to go uptown.
There are no archetypes that separate people from one continent of origin.
I'm going to Brooklyn. I'm going to Brooklyn.
Wait, slow down. Wait, where are you going? The light's red. Stop! Don't go through the red. So yeah,
And it's problematic because a lot of people, they want to push this down, and I see people make the argument, especially I see young people doing it all the time, and they want to make the argument. When I say young, I mean like young.
I know, but as I'm saying, it's rooted in impatience. Do you if you're 21 years old, can you understand the concept of something requiring hundreds of years to work past as a people?
The point, it's It's not about working past. It's about just understanding the current situation.
I know, but that's what you have to. That's a part of truly understanding racism, is to understand that we're nowhere near done with it at all, and that's not something a 20-year-old can fathom. Something, a concept so large that they will never see the end of it in their lifetime.
I feel like that's like having an argument about like, hey, I'm in a house. They're like, actually, you're not in a house. You're floating through space right now in infinite black. It's like. No, I'm in my house.
I'm in that house.
No.
No,
Scientifically
technically-
speaking, after the Big Bang, there was all these planets and stars were created, and then there was a star that all of a sudden pulled in via its gravitational force, and then this particular planet was just a certain distance away. So, but you're like the planet is just that's not even anything.
I got
that's
even
just,
more simple for
that's
you.
That's just construct.
Well, you're actually spinning right now.
That person would get a taser in the center of their chest. I don't want to listen to somebody walk
spinning.
right up to me and then tell me that I'm not in a house, but I'm sitting in a damn house because some nonsense.
There's certain
Earth is
things.
spinning.
There's certain details or
Spinning
fights
around.
about specifics that don't help this situation or grow this situation ever. And it's on both sides. It's not just conservatives doing this nonsense. Liberals will throw this out there too, especially if they feel like you're having too much identity politics with your particular identity and not with the whole cause. They will all of a sudden throw out there, listen, man, we're just people. Scientifically, there are no races. Race is made up. And you're just like, shut up. Shut up. That doesn't help me. That doesn't help anything. You yelling, that does not help anything.
And while I know scientifically you can compare, DNA with cows and human beings, where have a
We're
higher,
just floating in
higher
infinite space.
I would
brain
argue that that's
function,
the most.
and so we're different than cows.
That's the most intellectual way of putting your fingers in your ear and going la 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 that you can possibly about the subject of race is you can by saying that we're all humans. I don't want to hear it.
You're right.
Cows are not even.
That is a valid. That is exactly what it is. It is the
Like
la la la
us.
when you have to deal with the fact that we live in a society where where the construct of race has in fact played a humongous role in everything, and we are still living under that construct. And you yelling at me about science will not all of a sudden change that construct unless you can in fact inject your science like as if you can plug into the Matrix and you can just download this science and overwrite everyone else's current view of race, and you just overwrite it via this Matrix upload, and you're just like, wow, I understand race and that it's not a race. Let's go, Agent Smith. Like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like you can't, and it just annoys me because then all of a sudden I have to now explain to you why your argument is stupid, and then the person starts to go with me like it's science. You just have to accept it. I'm just saying. I can't say the MFR word, but MFR really? It's that's the thing.
There's
So
lots of things that exist that.
And these are the type, but I get stupid stuff like this all the time. People really want to break me when it comes to race, and I understand. I've paid in a big race bullseye on my chest with This Week in Blackness and blacking it up.
Everybody is trying to challenge you
Right.
for that moment where you'll be like,
Oh my God, you're right.
No,
I didn't understand.
I totally didn't get that.
Oh my God, I don't know why I didn't just go along with this.
My
I'm such a
whole
fool.
life.
Yeah. Shut up. Shut up.
And again, to the point, they're just targeting it towards the wrong people. Like, you need to target it toward the people who are racist, who believe that African Americans or other people of color aren't equal to them. It's not us.
Yep.
not us
So
anymore.
I felt like I needed to actually address this. Eventually I want a catalog one day that is just all of my thoughts on all this stuff. I want it to be like someone to actually sit down and just like take answers to things and just put it there. Like I would love for someone to be like, computer, what about race as a construct? And all of a sudden it just like pulls up the conversation we have and it just goes, shut up, and then go from there. Eldroy, is there something else we got? I mean, otherwise, I can keep doing this.
A long-distance phone call to an old racist buddy, $2. Refreshments for a white power meeting, $10. Explaining to a racist that all people have the same genes and that our external appearance, which is used to classify us into races, represents only 0.01% of our genes. Priceless.
See, they're trying to help. They're actually trying to help. And it's just like, that's not... Your argument's not, that's not helping because that's not we're not having that fight.
What's the cost of being shot in front of your house by a neighborhood watchman?
Yeah, because you look suspicious.
Was there a cost to that? Is that at the end of the video?
Actually,
Do you have science, maybe?
I don't think so. Maybe
is there science?
Maybe there's a scientific formula that can explain that.